Hello. So, I just thought I might as well do a little bit of a recording of myself playing some Darktide. Try to just generally show a little my gameplay. So, Auric Maelstrom playing here. Just a quick play. I don't really care to focus for going after a certain mission I deem as easy. It's just quick playing whatever. Usually people seem to need that help anyways, so it's nice to just join on in and give whatever help is needed. Well, I must say, it's amazing that this game still has a very big player base on these high difficulties, especially so early on into its life. You do often encounter some people that aren't particularly good.
Get a lungful of that. Sure,
That's to be expected with most games.
Free of pranks, unlike Lower Dine.
Using a collection of mods here, HUD mods specifically. Mostly just informational things, playing a little bit of Surge Staff Psyker. Sword looks a bit strange, and that's because it's got a modded skin on it. This one's actually the Demos, if I'm correct. Modified with... I forgot where that hilt comes from. Staff, I forgot the name of it. All just visual stuff that nobody else can see though. So, nothing too troubling in my opinion. Of course, with the weapon customization mod, there can be some argument made when it comes to adding scopes on weapons and whatnot. Some people I've heard call that a little bit cheap. I myself don't mind it much. It's don't really help. More so hinder if you've ever looked at the Exterminatus lens. Darn thing makes it impossible to hit anything. Also, as somebody that likes to generally talk quite a bit while I play games, you can see the Spidey Sense mod. I have some very bright colors to tell me what is what. Lets me make a lot of noise, listen to music, put the in-game music on for this one. Hopefully make it a bit better for listening experience. As much as I love this game's soundtrack, I listen to a little bit too much, where I prefer not to. So, send a little box to the right of my icon and all that. There was 7 hounds on the screen at once. Not screen, but on the map. The little box just tells me, hey, there's this many of this special active. Have it rather heavily modified to just show me all of the special enemies. Usually it only shows like 3 different types of enemies to start. A great thing to make use of playing Psyker is maintaining high peril. So not only is high peril going to give you, depending on how you build, it could give you more damage, but it also can give you higher toughness resistance, which is very, very good, especially for surviving fox bombers. Also, for somebody using the Surge Force staff, I heavily suggest making excellent use of getting a very high roll rates. Getting a bit of a charge, quell speed, that get a good high roll on that, you'll be doing yourself rather well. Those of you not familiar with the Spidey Sense mod, what it does is show little markers. You can see the bright blue marker spamming out because there's a hound in that direction. Whenever a special is making noise within 40 meters, 40 meters is its distance. No further than that will go. You can customize it to be less, but for just general like knowledge of specials, I kind of prefer it. I also tend to find this game's audio cues for specials rather annoying. The audio cues for getting hit by an enemy can be very, very loud, so I don't generally need anything to enhance that. The Spidey Sense by default has a little notifier for if you're about to get backstabbed by an enemy.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
As for the specific build I am using right here, I suppose I can show that off at the end of the video for those interested in copying what I'm doing. As for melee weapons, you can generally use whatever you want. When it comes to Psyker, melee is mostly just a crowd control tool. I have never had a build where I've like primarily used my melee over either gun Psyker, which is a very fun playstyle, or just general staff Psyker like this right here. One thing I would say makes the Surge Force staff really actually viable on high difficulties is getting Warp Nexus Blessing. Warp Nexus just gives you higher crit chance the higher your barrel, which the Surge Force staff on crits not only does a lot of damage, but it also makes a little AoE kind of. Basically doing a... That is 26 hounds. Let's see down there in that box.
Hello, biggin.
I lost my train of thought there. I was scared of the sheer number of hounds. One little trick for those who don't know it. Waves of hounds like this actively spawn a different kind of hound. You can tell because of the glowing eyes. The glowing eye hounds, I don't think their behavior is all too different. However, they are much weaker. Makes them a whole lot easier to take care of. That also generally just makes them a lot harder, or easier to stun too. And as you can see right there, if Courtney picks it up well, you get these occasional just like big bursts from the attacking target. You know, like that one just killed 2 people. I think it's more of a chain than an explosion. Either way, you get to kill 2 enemies at least with 1 attack. It seems to do a whole lot more boards.
I think the bomb is dead, beloved.
As for the choice of the Telekind shield, the bubble, I actually prefer just generally for the sake of getting better upgrades to not go for that second upgrade for the bubble that regenerates toughness. I instead just prefer to use it exclusively as a survival tool. It is really good if you have a flamer that you just don't want to take care of, or I should rephrase that. If you have a flamer that is being very annoying, or can be very annoying, especially from teams, in a spot where they won't be able to deal with the fire on the ground. If you have a Grenadier, however, that's just kind of SOL. Good luck. Because their fire can still spread in a shield. And also, this is actually a perfect example. That other one up there tried shooting into the bubble, and none of their fire spread in here. However, fire that was already in here stayed. So it's good if you can set it up beforehand, but much less so if there's already a lot of shit on the ground. At that point, like, you're either using it out of panic, or you just want to, like, make sure nothing can shoot you while you take care of everything else.
So hard.
Also, like I said previously, you just pull out your good old sword, just chop away some shit. The dueling swords, I think, just Psyker's best weapons. Purely because if you get the Mark IV or IV, for those that are not all too familiar with Roman numerals, that one's charge attack, heavy, whatever you want to call it, just does ridiculous damage. Great way of killing crushers if you don't have a staff that can do it. For instance, literally anything that isn't Surge Staff. Void Strike Staff can do some decent damage to the bulkier enemies like crushers. That's purely because it can hit headshots. It is the only staff alternate fire that can hit a headshot. Oh yeah, it's a good time to talk about health bar mod. I like seeing the health bars, because it lets me keep tracking whatever the fuck I want to kill. It's like that right there. I couldn't hear the guy. I could not hear that Pox Burster. But those, what I have customized to, like, dark red little blips actually told me, like, hey, as a Pox Burster, that's about to, like, jump your entire team. Best not take damage from that. Especially because Pox Bursters can be so just... I find them incredibly annoying. Like, out of everything, I tend to get hit by Pox Bursters the most. What is this guy doing? Let's pick this one. Because he already has one. Okay. Let's see if anybody else can spot it going back. Oh, let's hold on to this health kit. Never bully anybody for wanting to pick up scriptures. It doesn't hurt anyone. They just don't want to pick up some med kit. It's a little bit of a reward, but hey, if they want to go for that, that's them. I personally, if I tend to only pick up a scripture if it's like I don't have anything that I'm already holding on to. Yeah, I might as well at that point. 14 pounds. As for the grimoires, I've heard as of lately there's been a bit of a situation in the community about grimoires. Just please, unless you can communicate that with your team, pick them up. Please, just don't. They actively make the game harder, and sometimes teams just really you don't need that extra
I swear
difficulty.
these fucking dogs make my game go fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, the dogs and the frame rate.
They're running, screaming.
Something to get used to. If you don't have a good system, dogs can really screw with you. This guy. So you may have noticed I haven't used my blitz like at all. It's because I think most, like all of Psyker's blitzes are just really bad. With the Bio Lightning easily just being the best because you just stun everything. That's compared to Brain Rupture, which, as somebody who's gotten all the achievements, you have to use it a little bit too much, which tries to give it a whole lot more credit than it's actually worth. Brain Rupture is not good because of just how much time it requires to charge up. I mean, hey, like, if you want to use it and you're good with it, more power to you, but I really just don't recommend trying to primarily build around it.
I'll save you. I'm good like that.
And then there's a sail, which, yeah, it's kind of cool. I honestly didn't really use it much. Back in my early time in this game, got annoyed I kept seeing everyone use it. I mean, heck, early on, like at low-level Psyker, that thing destroys just everything. It is so good. And then, like, late game, I just never did enough damage for me to want to use it. That's why I'm using the Surge Force staff here, because Psyker has a big issue, in my opinion, of just not doing enough damage. And the Surge Force staff is probably the best you can get for Psyker, in all honesty.
Ammo. No, beloved, I don't want to bother him. He's busy. A bomber to kill.
And you get these funny moments where just does that. No staff is perfect, such as this one having no crowd control and limited range, like everything else. Trauma staff, default one, also has some range problems. I'd say Trauma Staff is pretty solid. I've used it quite a bit, specifically on a Soul Blaze spreading build. Soul Blaze may not be the most effective. Boy, is it fun watching it just melt crowds.
No, beloved, something about this isn't right.
Only the insane have strength enough to prosper. You must be prosperous indeed.
My beloved says you don't mean to be so cruel. You were just raised by an uncaring and hypocritical system. Oh, look, we're winning. There, sniper!
We ain't done yet!
Won't be a bother anymore.
I find Psykers in this, or snipers. in this
How does he
game
know his sister, though? What?
a little bit goofy.
So pretty.
Snipers, for like how powerful they are, just generally tend to have some of the stupidest
Go there.
That with the elevators, you being too close to the wall, it feels annoying. It's just
I do so like
one of
surprises.
many things I just
Honest.
kind of find annoying in this game.
Med terminal.
I mean, hey, no game can ever be perfect. This game has most certainly kept a grip on me for the past good while.
Not afraid of you!
Terry to this bit. Not much to say. Already said. As stated previously, and I'll share the build I've been using. Maybe somebody in the comments, if any people who decide to watch this, could give me some criticism, see what I might be able to fix. I'd say the hardest part of it is just getting good RNG for the blessings, as is this game's forte. If anybody is watching this video to try to get an idea of some recommended Psyker weapons, these difficulties, first off, like I say, Surge Force Staff, very nice, very good. It's easily your best way of dealing damage to bosses. As you've been seeing, I've been taking care of some of the elite enemies rather efficiently. As for melee, there's a big variety of just kind of whatever works really well. Previously stated, the Mark IV dueling sword is really solid, great heavy attack, and really you just want to get something with some good crowd control, and then let your staff do the damage, specifically like a Surge Force Staff build. The Antax Mark V, or V, is a pretty solid one. I wasn't a big fan of the axes in this game at first, but the Antax Mark V is really solid. Its specialty is just that its light attack does an insane amount of damage. Don't even bother doing the heavies. Like, the heavies are nowhere near desirable, but you just light attack that thing like crazy. Great. The fact that everyone has it just makes it insane. And then you get the blessings on top of it. That thing gets really high damage, really high crit rate. Someone like Psyker, though, the dueling swords and power swords tend to be just what I drive towards more, because it's unique to Psyker.
You do have talent for killing, veteran. Oh no, a trapper!
What originally drove me to want to make a video like this was more so just a video from the perspective of somebody who isn't the best at the game, but someone who at least give a good bit of information, some tips. Actual tips I have given none. I have given it. bunch of general just gameplay to show, you know, some general gameplay. So we look at the scoreboard mod afterwards. I know some people don't like the scoreboard, but in my opinion, the people that don't like the scoreboard are often at its lowest. You can see here, I didn't even get the best. However, 32 damage taken, least of the entire team. Generally, as Psyker, you want to try to play as safe as possible, which is why I like the Surge Force staff, because it also just staggers everything. It's a lot of fun. After this loading screen, we'll make our way over to Psychonum, and I'll show off the kind of build that I'm running. For those of you who might want to try something like this. Or, as also stated, if you think that there's something wrong with my build, please tell me in the comments section. I will most certainly get a notification and listen to, or read, any comment that you guys send.
I will mold your mind.
So, some features might be a little weird in the Psychonum due to mods like the health bar mod. They tend to mess stuff up here. But, stated with the Spidey Sense mod, get like, I have this one for the dogs. They do some sort of action that makes noise. The little bar blips up. Ragers, they love to make noise, so I'll often see those little blips. Big old yellow blip for the Trapper. Why does that look like a mouse? Looks like a mouse's snout. These guys, they kind of orange. Kind of gotta push them sometimes to get them to do stuff. Flamers are surprisingly silent when they're standing still. You gotta push them around, make them make some movement and whatnot. The mod also comes with stuff to signify these guys. I don't really go for it. Anyways, build time. So the Curios, those don't really matter in my opinion. I just recommend going for either health or toughness. I have one at 20% health, and then 2 for toughness. Shooting to get like 3 toughness soon, just because it makes you a bit tankier. As for the sword, this is what I was running. Slaughter is really solid on a weapon for crowd control. Mark IV dueling sword, this is kind of what I got. Rampage should not be slept on. The sheer damage bonus from that is insane. And then the finesse damage bonus. Honestly, it's not the best, but it's at least kind of nice. As for the big part of the build, the staff, this is what I got rolling. The modifier roll is not the best, but that's considering that anybody watching this will have the godlike luck to get like a, you know, like 379 staff with 80s all over the place. But even with the warp resistance where it is, you can see I was still able to get a good few casts out before that was ever a problem. Warp Nexus for the crits, Warp Flurry for just quicker charge rate. I would say Warp Nexus isn't as required as Warp Flurry. Warp Flurry is just going to be the best part of your build, because that's just going to let you cast it so fast. We have, that's the charge. See how quick that is? Super fast. I realized I was doing it wrong. Yeah, there we go. Now you see how quick that shit is. Really fast. Alright, now for the part that you actually want to see, the build. Just give it a quick scroll down. For somebody that wants to just copy paste it into their own build. Then we'll go into some explanation. So, Soul Stealer, absolute must with staff. Quietude, I tend to quell quite a lot, so it's very nice. Metal, it's just basically a requirement. Perfect timing is great because they do have that extra crits with the Warp Nexus. Battle Meditation, I'm not the biggest fan of it, in all honesty, because of that just random chance. However, it is still helpful. It's better than going for like Perilous Combustion over here, which I think on a build like this is just not really worthwhile. Big buffs to toughness here. Smite, I don't bother getting any of this stuff down here. Lightning Storm is great for if you really just want to stun lock entire rooms. Psychonetic's Aura for that extra reduced cooldown. You get this Seer's Presence for even more reduced cooldown. And then you go for Warp Siphon down here. You can get some like zero downtime on your shield. It's crazy. One with the warp, like I stated, it's crazy. This is how you survive stuff like Poxbursters. As I also said, don't go for Sanctuary. I don't go for Sanctuary. I recommend that if you really want to, you go for it. But I view Telekind Shield more as a spacing tool for ranged and special enemies. Kinetic Deflection, absolute must. Warp Rider, just absolute must. These two I always go with on any build, even if I'm going Gunpsyker, because, you know, you still get Scryer's Gaze for Warp Rider. And then Kinetic Deflection, great for picking up enemies, especially if you're using like a dueling sword. Gives you plenty of breathing room to deal with. And then Warp Siphon, in part for peril reduction, mostly for the damage. As I've said, Psyker really sucks on the damage department. So giving him a bunch of extra damage, which 6 whole charges of 4%, that's going to do you really good. It's 24% more damage. In Fire Reborn, even if you are using a Soul Blaze build, I just really don't think it's worthwhile. Psychic Vampire is always better because your allies can help you keep your Warp Siphon stacks up, which is great if your allies are, you know, like my friend who is just the fucking God's greatest gift to veteran gaming, which he just fucking obliterates every elite enemy on the map. So I just kind of have to wait for Psychic Vampire to leech off of that and get me some extra, you know, actual utility in the game. My recommendation is, yes, theoretically you can get like Telekind Shield 0 downtime by just like continuously using Warp Siphon stacks, but try to hold on to those. That's where like most of your damage is going to be coming from. 24% on top of this 20% is a lot of damage. Anyways, I think that is that. Those who have any questions, feel free to ask. I will happily either make like a follow-up video if I see a bunch of questions, or just answer you in the comments. That is all. Thank you for watching.